Hello everybody, Kathy at Northstar Prepsteader. Yes, I'm here in my garden. I live in West Central Minnesota. For any of those who are new to my channel, and I welcome you and I thank you so much for being here, for watching and subscribing. Well, it is the beginning of September and I wanted to show you where my garden was at. I know I haven't shown you anything since, oh my goodness, almost the middle of July and a lot has happened. I have a whole lot to harvest right now, but I wanted to show you before I started digging things up and pulling things up and kind of give you an idea of what's going on in the garden. So my tomatoes, oh my goodness, they're almost to the top of those tall stakes. I have not topped them off yet and I need to because I still have blossoms going on up there and we are getting close to fall. And there's no way that they'll all develop. I've already harvested about 20 pounds of tomatoes. But you can see I've got quite a few more. These are my beef steaks. And see that cluster inside there and all up in there. Everything is starting to ripen. And then my atomic grape tomatoes, they're taking a while to actually fully ripen, but because they're supposed to end up with a blue streak in there, and right now they've still been purple and green, so we'll see. But I do have something kind of strange here. Yes, and I have my borage plants that I put in my beds, and you can see how they've fallen way over in the aisles between the beds. So look at all of these tomatoes here. I haven't been able to be out here for a long time to just prune the branches and stake them up, or to continue to tie them up, and they're falling over and I need to tend to that. But this one was also supposed to be a Brad's Atomic Grape, but they are a very different tomato. They're a different shape. They're a different look. I mean, they've got kind of the streak, and they're not a cross, but I was just wondering if any of you would know what kind of tomato these are. It happened to me with the beans too, that I got the wrong seeds in the wrong packet, so there could have been a seed that got mixed up in with the Brads. So again, tons of grape tomatoes. I mean, they're very, very prolific, so we'll see how they go, but they're just wonderful. Oh, and this one's starting to get eaten. Oh, this one's starting to turn. Okay, that one's getting eaten. Oh, there's a wasp there. That's who was eating it. Okay, so we're getting a few. These were some of the first ones. Now they were supposed to turn blue, but they were supposed to turn blue, but they're not. They're getting an orange streak to them, and there's some that have actually died down here. So I have to figure out at what point to pick them, I guess. So this bed, not only was it a grape tomatoes, but there were two different kinds of beefsteak tomatoes. So that's what you see in these bigger ones that are here. Those are the beefsteaks. Now this entire bed was all a bigger tomato also, and they were called delicious tomatoes. And they were seeds that I got either at Walmart or Menards, I can't remember, but they have produced huge tomatoes. I weighed one that was 27 ounces. And here we have a gorgeous one right here, and some more up there, some here, cluster in there. But these things are huge. And again, the borage is keeping watch here for the tomatoes. I have not had the hornworms, which have been great. The birds have been finding the ripe ones, so I've been trying to pick them before they get really, really red. Like I said, I have already picked about 20 pounds of tomatoes from these plants, and that's just like the beginning. So these are doing very, very, very well. And then my poor strawberry bed needs some love. There's borage that planted in here. I need to pull out the old plants and get the new ones established where I want to pull out the borage, clean this up. So this is a fall project I need to take care of. My anise is about done, and you can see there's some seeds that are ready to harvest, and I need to get out here and collect these. And the oregano is doing very well. I've already harvested many times in here, so it's ready to get another cutting. And the sage is doing beautifully. Peppermint is doing great. And my comfrey, I need to cut that back and add it to my compost so it can grow a little bit more before winter. Again, for those of you who have not been on my lives, whenever you cut your comfrey, make sure it's just the leaves. Don't have any of the stems in there or anything. And now the leaves go right to the stems, but don't include the stems in your compost because that will grow a whole new plant. And my green onions, or bunching onions, I haven't even been able to get out here and thin them, but they're doing ultra fantastic. I mean, the greens on them are fabulous. I do need to thin them out so the whites can get a little bit bigger, but there are plenty in here. And then my other little bed, and this bed, it's only 1 foot by 4 feet. And I've got a lot of chamomile. I've been harvesting like crazy, and I haven't been able to get out here the last few days, and I've lost the petals on them. So I can still harvest the yellow centers, but you really do want the petals too, because that's where a lot of the flavor is. But it did very, very well. I'll have to see how much I have left over at the end of winter if I need to plant those next year. My parsley, some Italian parsley, needs to be trimmed back because it's getting a little bit of bug damage. But I want to show you what I did. It's just a little side rack here off of my bed that I put the pot right in. So if you've used up all of your regular garden space, certainly think about doing that. Just getting some of these hangers and filling in with pots around. Here are a couple of my Calendula plants. This is just so funny and so amazing that from the same plant I get this flower, and I get this flower, and I get this one, and this one. So many different blossoms from the same plant. So these are all ready to pick and dry for my Calendula collection. But look at all the blossoms yet to go on here. My pepper plants have done fantastically this year. Those are my purple murasakis, and then my banana peppers here. And then you can see in here, I've got some California Wonders. They're kind of hiding. There they go. I could pick them green right now, but I'm still waiting for them to turn red. I have the hardest time for peppers to turn red, and I don't know if it's my weather and my climate that it's just not long enough or warm enough. But the murasakis are still very, very prolific. You can see all of them. I don't see too many more blossoms though. I think it's starting to get too chilly for that. But look at all of the peppers in here. I actually made some cowboy candy out of these and a few jalapenos that I bought. I am starting to see some signs of stress in the plants, whether they're from bugs or just age with the plants. I think they're starting to get towards the end of what they're doing. Now here's a blossom. They have these gorgeous purple blossoms on there. And there are a few little green leaves of new growth, but I think overall they're starting to get tired. And like I said, I don't really see any new blossoms. It's not full of them. So probably we'll just let grow out what's on here and then pull the plants. My banana peppers got so big this year. The plants did, I mean, look at this. It's just wonderful. This is a good 5 or 6 inches long. You can see all of them right here. I've already canned a lot of pickled banana peppers, and you can see I still have a lot more to go. Look at all of these. They're just loving the spot. Very much so. But again, the plants are starting to show signs of wear and just kind of getting tired, even though I've been fertilizing and everything. Now there are a few blossoms going on here and there, so we'll see how they go. Now I've got some other peppers under here that I'm waiting for them to turn. I mean, they're beautiful and they're doing great, but these are supposed to be, they're supposed to turn tangerine. These are the ones from Poland. So I'm hoping that I don't have that many peppers on those. These and the California Wonders didn't give me a whole lot of peppers. And these are the ones I actually really like to eat fresh. And my carrots, starting to get ready. Some of them are really big, and I've got to get ready to get these out of here. I have more carrots over there, and those were planted earlier than these, and those are definitely ready to come out. I really like the patty pan squash plants. Stay kind of just in one area. They don't really sprawl, and that's been really, really nice in a small garden. So here I've got one that's ready to come out, and there's a couple other babies in there. So they have finally started really producing. You can see my lettuce has gone to seed, so I'm hoping to be able to get some of that. Here's another calendula plant, which has done very well. So between this one and the other one, I've gotten a lot this year. Here's one of my butternut squashes. It's a Waltham butternut squash, and I use the nylon to make a sling here to hold it, and it's done very, very, very well. And it's starting to get a little tanner, so we'll see how that goes. I have another one here. This is kind of resting on the bed. I'm hoping that once I can get these carrots out of here and the sunflowers, then you can see how it's sprawled, and there's another one over there. I really want to put these squash up in the beds so they can just lay there until they're done. And you can see so many of my sunflowers are done and ready to be harvested. So those are going to also go along with everything else and get harvested because they are done. Now in my little boxes near the gate, I planted some Kajari melons that I had started indoors before planting, and it kept growing up and up and up and up and up, and it's now grown over the top of the 6-foot arbor, and it's grown off the side here, and it put out a lot of flowers, but it didn't have any fruit for the longest time. But now I've got two. I've got this little one, and I've got this one that's much bigger. So we'll have to see if these are able to ripen before frost or not, and if it's going to be too cold for them to be growing. They might not make it, but we'll have to see. Oh, I've got two more up here. Oh, that's so fun. And on the other side, I've got one. They're so fuzzy. And there's another little baby one here. Okay, so overall I did pretty well in these beds. I pulled the peas a long time ago and got my pea harvest. And like I said, I need to pull these carrots because they're starting to get big. And in fact, look at this little guy, this purple one. I need to get my hori out here and help to dig these up. This sunflower, these sunflowers are supposed to be dwarf sunflowers, only about 3 feet tall. So this one is definitely ready to bring in. And what I'm gonna do is cut them off probably 6 or 8 inches from, of the stem, and then bring them inside and dry them. And then I can deal with them later in the season. My Swiss chard is still going. It's getting a little old, but it's still growing. My basil has gone to seed, so I need to come back and trim that off and see if I can get a little bit more out of it. Still very fragrant. And there's another butternut squash, and I've got one out here. That one grew outside the fence. And then I've got one down here. There's another patty pan. So I've got one there. I've gotten quite a few. I've already harvested maybe 5 or 6 of them. Oh, there's a whole bunch more blossoms and another baby starting there. All right, my poor onions. Not as happy with them as I was hoping for. And I don't know if it's just if it was our weather this year or not. I mean, this is a nice shaped one, but it's small. These are all like really small, and don't know really what happened. But the red ones are a little bit smaller. I mean, I've got a few yellow ones that aren't too bad. I mean, they got nice and round, but they're small. They're maybe 2 inches in diameter. That's definitely not going to take me through the year. So we'll have to see what I can do next year. But I kind of love my jungle in here. It just has produced so well. I will not be growing sunflowers next year because I want to make sure that whatever's growing in here gets the sunlight it needs. That is what has been hard and prohibitive for a lot of them. But overall, whatever was in here did well. This is where I had the beans, and I want to plant some annual ryegrass in here to provide some green manure and a little subsistence for the soil. But what I need to do is replace the wood first because it's all rotting away. And as for anybody who's been following, you know that I need to replace the wood. This bed has brand new boards and it's been oiled. Now I've got all the boards all ready to go. I'm preparing them before I put them out here. Now these other beds, I just put them out here with raw wood and then I oiled them once they were built. But it didn't allow me to seal anything on the inside. So I want to be able to do that this time for all the rest of the beds. And I have 7 beds to replace. The only thing that I need to finish up are the little end pieces, these end braces, and I need to oil those down and get those ready to go. But I've got everything else ready. And that I'm just waiting on some good weather for. It's all of a sudden turned cool. It takes several hours for the timber oil to dry before I can work with it or handle it or anything. And I want to do both sides. It's a process. I've been at it for almost 2 months now getting these ready. So to do the 7 beds I needed, because I do 2x8s and I stack them, so there are 2 layers on them. So they're actually about 15 inches high when I get done. And I build the frame and then bring it in, especially when it's already established here. I have to build it around the soil that's already there. So that makes it a little bit trickier. I know what I'm up for because I already did 2 of them earlier this spring. But to replace the 7, that calls for 56 boards and then 70 of the small, the 1x4s for the corner braces. It's a lot of wood, it's a lot of work, especially when I'm preparing them ahead of time. I can't just cut them, sand them, and screw them together. There's been a lot of process, and I'm going to show that to you when I go to do this. But for right now, I just wanted to give you a walk through my garden, and I hope you enjoy the pictures here. You guys, take care, God bless. Always have hope. And I hope your garden has done well for you this year. Even if it's not 100%, at least you probably were able to harvest something, and be grateful for that. All right, you guys, take care. Bye-bye.